Well, I kind of feel like it's important to share this particular legend. You know, legends are stories that the ancients used to tell as a way of giving grace and space to things that they didn't fully comprehend and understand, but they had great reverence and respect for. That's where legends come from. So this is an African legend. It originated in Africa, but it's been told by all societies now. Yeah. So we have to give credit to where this originated from in Africa. Now, up front, I want to tell you all this legend, whilst I cannot confirm it to be true, I highly speculate that it is accurate because too many ancients in all the societies have talked about this. And it's interwoven in all of you all's media. Everything honors this, but you really don't know what it is they're trying to honor. Yeah. So I wanted to tell you all this because this is important for you to know now. Let's talk about the beginning. There was a cat, tiny, tiny cat. Yeah, C-A-T, a cat. And I'm going to tell you, this is why I have great respect for cats. You don't in this realm want to fuck with a cat based off of this legend. This is why the ancients had a lot. You know, the Egyptians, they worship cats because of this story. The Africans and many, many different tribes, they worship cats because of this story. I'm going to tell you all this story. You know, International Cat Day was a couple of days back, so we should have told you that story then, but we'll tell it to you now. And like I said, I believe this story is true, but I have no way of definitively knowing it. Now, it's going to sound really crazy, but you know, crazy things do occur in this realm, whether people want to believe it or not. So there was this cat. Let me start this way. Have you all heard the story of this? It goes like this. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought the cat back, right? That's the whole saying. They just say, curiosity killed the cat, and people stop there. But you gotta say the other part, because that's very important to this legend that I'm going to tell you. Satisfaction brought the cat back, right? You know, oftentimes they say cats have 9 lives. These were all things that the ancients told. You know, sometimes, this is how it works. Sometimes when the original person knows something, it gets relayed to somebody. They relay it to somebody else, but not in the exact and correct manner as it was relayed to them. Then that person relays it to another person, but it's still not in the correct manner that the previous person relayed. We have a game that's called telephone. Did you all ever play telephone when you were in your youth? You tell somebody something, then they tell the next person something, then they tell the next person something. By the time it gets to the last person, the story is totally changed. Okay. So the ancients, they originally told folks this story. Now, how do I know what the original story is, you're going to ask yourself. I wasn't present. However, there were creatures that were present, and they keep good, meticulous records. And so I've seen elements, not the entire thing, but elements of the record. Anyway, there was this tiny cat. It was wandering around, and it came upon another creature, and the creature was violent to the cat. Yeah, it gutted the cat. It did all kind of shit to the cat. And the cat was wounded. Yeah, the wounds were lethal to the cat, right? The cat knew it wasn't going to survive. The neck was severed. There were guts on display. It was bad according to what was logged in the record. So the cat managed to get away because the other creature left it for dead, really. They didn't say in the record what the other creature was that attacked the cat. No one to this day knows what the other creature was. It was anonymous. Probably another animal. They don't speculate that it was a human, so you all get a pass. You didn't do this cruelty at this time to the cat. Probably another animal. We don't know which animal. It wasn't speculated in the record. I want to reiterate that. It's very important. The cat was wounded. He wasn't going to survive. So he wanted to go into a secluded area. Just die in peace. It wandered upon something that was strange. It was some type of root. As the record says, it was some type of weird looking root. Now the cat, it sniffed it. It had a couple of minutes left to death, really. It was going to transition on out of here. The cat sniffed it. And it was curious. It just was like, this smells odd. So it bit into it. And then the eyes closed. Yeah, the cat was no more, right? Now, as the record dictates, the cat slept for some parts of the record vary. It said maybe some hours, maybe some days. The cat woke up, was like, this must be heaven. I'm dead. But then it was right around the same route. It's like, wait a minute, this is weird. It's like, it's up. It looks at itself. It's completely healed. There is no cuts. There's nothing. You wouldn't even have known that anything had occurred to this cat. And it was a tiny little cat. So it was like, wait a minute. It's checking its belly. It's like my guts were hanging out. Guts are still there. So the cat is thinking, maybe I'm having an hallucination. I'm really dead. So it starts prancing around, walking around. It sees more of this root, and it eats a piece of the root again. Couple of hours go by. The cat starts getting bigger. Yeah, like in size. It's this tiny cat. Now it's morphed into a bigger cat. Now the cat is starting to trip out. It's going crazy now because it's like, what's happening to me? The cat progressively gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Now this cat is like, what the heck is going on with me? It continues to wander around. This big cat now, yeah, it came upon the creature that attacked it. The creature that attacked the cat didn't recognize the cat because they remembered the cat was tiny. So this creature that attacked the cat, as the legend has it, that cat attacked the creature and consumed it, ate it. Yeah. Once the cat ate that creature, whatever that creature was, it could morph into that creature when it chose to. Yeah. Something like shape-shifting, what you all consider to be shape-shifting. Now this is where they get this story of shape-shifting from. Because of this legend, this fable, this tale. I'm telling you all where all of these things occur from. Now it can be this creature and it can be the cat. Then it can transform back into the tiny cat again. So the cat transforms back into the tiny cat again. It goes around and it eats an ant. Now the cat can be an ant too. It can shapeshift into an ant. It eats different flowers. It can shapeshift into a flower. But it really can be this giant beast of a cat. Or it can be the creature that attacked it. It can be whatever. So the tiny cat eventually wanders upon a tiny village. It's very remote and isolated. And there's like maybe 3 or 4 people there in this village. The cat is loved. The people start petting it. They're like, where did you come from? You're so tiny. How come the other creatures haven't consumed you? So one person takes the cat into the village as the record transcribes. That person goes missing. The other villagers are like, what happened to the individual? Next night, another person in the village goes missing. Now there were 2 people left in this village. Before there were 4. The other 2 look at this tiny cat and they're like, ever since you came to this village, half of the population has gone missing. You're some type of cursed creature. Like, we don't want you here. You have to leave. So one of the villagers picks up the cat and takes him to a remote area away from their village and just drops him there. As that villager is turning to leave, the cat consumes the villager. Now the cat walks back to the village, and there's only one person left. The one person left says, you did it, didn't you? The cat meows, confirming what it's doing. And then it shapeshifts into all the different creatures that it's consumed in front of the other villager. The one person left, it shapeshifted into all of those things. And the villager asked the cat, what are you? And it shapeshifted back into the little tiny cat again. So the villager was like, how did you morph into all those different creatures, including the other villagers, when you're this tiny little creature? And so it shapeshifted back into one of the villagers and explained what had occurred. It told the villager, I was left for dead. Another creature attacked me. It shapeshifted into the creature that attacked me. Then it said, I stumbled on this root. And the villager said, can you show me where the root is? You can consume me after you show me where the root is, if that's what you want to do. And so the little cat, the villager took the little cat, picked it up, and they walked back to the root area, where this root is. And the cat pointed to it and shapeshifted into one of the villagers and said, don't eat this. It'll do to you what it did to me. And it said, what did it do to you? And the villager said, I don't know. But whatever I consume, I can shapeshift into. Said, what have you consumed? Said, I consumed an ant. I consumed your village friends. I consumed the beast that originally attacked me. I've consumed this. I've consumed flowers. I can shapeshift into any of those things. But you don't want this, so don't eat this. The villager smelled it. Said it smells putrid. Yeah. It cut a little piece off. The villager said, again, don't eat this. This is not for you. Said, but you ate it, and you're still here. Said, well, am I still here? Yeah. The villager decided it wouldn't eat it. So it took the little tiny cat back to the village and said, whatever that is, you shouldn't have consumed it. And I'm not going to consume it. You can do what you will with me. That's what the villager said. Said, I don't want whatever you got. I think you're cursed. So the cat was like, I don't want to eat you. You're fine. Said, go back into your village. I'll leave now. So the cat traverses off, leaves the villager. That villager went back to the root. Yeah. It inspected the root, as the story goes, the legend goes. It never ate it, but it inspected the root. And they found some interesting compounds in that shit. Yeah, they did some tests and stuff like that. As best as they could back in the day. They found that it was very potent and poisonous. Yeah. And so the villager is like, how did the cat not die from it? It was poisonous and the cat was wounded. So the cat comes upon a bigger town now. Consumes everybody in that big town. Came upon another town, bigger than the previous. Consumed everybody in that town. The cat eventually started to go and consume other animal species. Birds, all kinds of creatures, frogs, anything you can imagine. And it could shapeshift into all of the things that it can consume. Yeah. It takes those abilities too. So if it consumes a bird, it can fly like a bird. Yeah. If it consumes an eagle, it can fly like an eagle. If it consumes an owl, it can behave like an owl. Yeah. And so, eventually, the little cat wandered back to the original village where it was from. And the original villager that he didn't consume, it was like, are you here to finally finish me? And the cat was like, no. You're the only person that knows where that root is, though. And you have to protect it. Yeah, nobody else can get this root. Villager is like, look at me. If a lot of folks came, do you really think I could protect it? This villager was elderly. Yeah. And was kind of on their last league. The cat was like, that's a good point. The villager picked up the cat and walked back to the root. They put the cat there and they said, you're going to have to protect it. I'm going to be out of here. That's for you to protect. Yeah, it's your curse. The villager walked back to their village. And as the story goes, that villager passed away. So nobody else, at least human, ever knew where that root was. Now, centuries have gone by since this story was originally told. So I can imagine But that small cat, or once what was that small cat, has consumed every creature imaginable, every species, everything imaginable. And it can shapeshift into anything that it wants to. Yeah. Some, as some legends say, that this creature is the devil, Diablo, Satan, Lucifer in this realm. Some legends say this is how the snake appeared to Eve. This is where this comes from. This shape-shifting ability that this creature has. Because people say that the creature is evil. I want to clarify something. This little cat is not necessarily evil. Yeah. You all really have low vibrational thinking in terms of how you think about things. Everything is in the binary. Yeah. It's really sad what's occurred to this cat. Really. Because it's stuck in this realm. It can't leave the realm. It can't die. Nothing can kill it. You know, take for example a nuclear weapon. Say you find where this creature is and you decide you're going to drop a nuke on the creature. The creature would still be around. Yeah, it would survive a nuclear attack. Absolutely. Because whatever is in that root, it has the compounds that can heal you instantaneously. Yeah. Any type of sickness, illness you have, you'll heal instantaneously. But it'll run you crazy. Yeah. Can you imagine you don't have an arm? Your arm is severed. Yeah. Or you're decapitated, no leg. And you consume this root and your arm grows back within 5 minutes. Your leg grows back within 2 minutes. Yeah. It's too much. You'll go crazy. Any creature will. And so this cat went crazy. That's all. Because it has the power and potency of 1,000,000,000 times. It's 1,000,000,000 times more potent than any type of THC or anything like that. Yeah. And so legend has it that this cat protects that root to this day. And no human has ever discovered or found the root. Now, this is where the story gets crazy. You know, I kind of announced that we were going to be departing and journeying to Africa. And lo and behold, I'm now going to tell you all the person, this individual judge's name. But there's a judge who's gone into the trifecta and said to disallow me from gaining entry into the entire continent based solely off of this legend. This judge, who I have great respect for, has said that I could be that creature. Now, this is where we really need to use all of our protons and neutrons and our brain functions. This is where we really need to use this. First and foremost, I'm not. Yeah, I can leave this realm as 99.99999% of all creatures can leave. That creature, however, has been around for centuries. It is banished from leaving this realm because it ate that shit. So it cannot leave this realm. That's kind of, not necessarily. It depends on how you look at it. Some people say it's a curse. I don't necessarily see it that way. It gets to languish and enjoy this realm forever. It is what it is. I'm not that creature. This judge, however, has said, I don't believe you because the creature can shapeshift. Cool beans. Let's ride with that. Why, first and foremost, would I have left the root unprotected to begin with? Yeah. If I'm currently not there to protect the root, somebody could stumble upon it. Yeah. So that's the first flaw in this judge's thinking. Second flaw in this judge's thinking. They're like, okay, suppose you're not the creature. You could come and try to find that root and use it for yourself. Why would I want to stay here with you all? Really think about that. That tiny cat, I don't know if that cat wants to be here with you all anymore. I most certainly don't. Yeah, when it's time for my expiration date, I'm out of here. I'm like, deuces, adios. On to the next round. The next round might be more exciting than this one. You just gotta live your life and enjoy it as best as possible. That creature is stuck here. It can only be in a 3D dimension. Yeah, I don't know if I want to just be in a 3D dimension. Might like the next round better than this one. So I wouldn't go fucking around with something that I think is going to be harmful. Yeah. That's the second flaw in this judge's thinking. The third and final flaw in this judge's thinking is this. The judge said, well, I speculate that it's possibly you're the creature. And I'm like, Your Honor, why would I have even given notice that I was planning to come to your continent? If I can just shapeshift into anything, any type of bird, why wouldn't I just fly into your country without your announcement? Yeah. So this is where we really have to start using our entire brain, the left, the right, the front, the back. All of it has to be utilized. Because this judge now has kind of put myself in danger. Yes, this judge has told different folks to be on the lookout for me. Yeah, they think that I've done something centuries ago to certain villages, and they cursed and banished this animal. However, they haven't cursed and banished the animal because, as the legend goes, it's still in Africa. Yeah, the legend never said that it left Africa. Yeah, so I don't know what they're getting at. But this judge has really made it difficult, you all. I'm telling you all this story because I want to tell you how difficult they've made entry now. Yeah, it's tied up a lot of things. There's a lot of folks that can vouch for me. Yeah, there's a lot of folks that can vouch for me. But what I'm not going to do is put myself in harm's way based off of folk legend and animosity that's going to come my way based off of this judge's perceived ignorance to what the legend actually is. Yeah. The legend states that that animal never left the root. It stayed in that field. Yeah. That's what the legend states. Now, there's been some contemporary revision of the legend. Let me explain this. Because the judge pointed to this contemporary revision as a basis for their caution. The judge said, we're being cautious. We're not saying yes and we're not saying no. It's a maybe. Yeah, this is what the judge has said. Anyway, contemporary vision of this story goes like this. The cat befriended an elderly African woman. Yeah. This elderly African woman had many illnesses, but the little cat liked the elderly African woman. So the cat took the little elderly African woman to the room. She was terminally ill. She was going to die, just like the cat. They had some sympathy and empathy. But the cat transformed back into the villager and told her, if you consume this, you won't be able to leave this realm. Yeah. And you'll do the same thing as me. You'll consume different creatures and be able to shapeshift into different creatures. The elderly woman said, I don't think I want that. I'm fine. The cat said, but you've got all these illnesses and they can go away. The elderly woman took a part of the root, went back to her village. Now she did a lot of chemistry testing. This is how we know how potent this root is. Most of contemporary legend comes from this elderly African woman testing it. She boiled it, she ran some tests on it, all kinds of shit. Then she went to another part of Africa. Yeah, she traveled to another part, took another sample of another root, brought that back to her village, mixed it with the old root, and she said, now I can probably consume it, but I'm very cautious. The cat was like, well, it's up to you. If you consume it and you don't know what it's going to do to you, that's when the cat said curiosity killed the cat. But satisfaction brought it back. The elderly woman thought long and hard about it. As her sickness and illness progressed, she didn't have much more time. She took what she boiled down into a cup, made it like a tea, and she drank it. Legend has it, contemporary legend, that this elderly woman, she did the same thing that the cat did, consumed different species and creatures, and that she and the cat watch over that root, making sure no one else consumes that root. Even though she boiled something else in it, the potency of it still had the same effect. So this elderly woman, originally that's what she was, like originally the tiny cat, they stayed by that location, by the root. She looks elderly and the cat looks tiny. You think they're harmless. Oh, an elderly, old, frail woman and a tiny cat. Yeah, they look harmless until they shapeshift into whatever they want to be and consume you. So I wouldn't go to an area where I see an elderly woman and a tiny cat. I would be suspicious. If just those two creatures live there, I would think the root would be by that none of us know where this root is located. So there's George saying that I somehow know where the root is located. That's false. I don't know. I want to make that clear. I have no knowledge. Nor would I want anybody to consume it. I don't care what sickness you're suffering from. I wouldn't want anybody to consume it. That's a fact. Your Honor, you have my word. If I somehow stumble upon it, I'll probably be dead. They'll consume me. And then they'll be able to shapeshift into me. Yeah, that'd be weird. So that's not my purpose for going. Yeah. But this legend, you all, is causing real world ramifications. Yeah. This judge is saying that they're potentially not going to allow me onto the continent because of this story. You all can ask a lot of folks about this. They'll confirm that this is a real African legend, real story that's been told by all types of different communities, ancients, throughout the centuries. It's been passed down. I believe it's true. I do believe that there is a tiny cat and an elderly one. And that root will run you crazy. Let's just say that. Yeah. You can't leave this realm if you consume it. And so that elderly woman and the cat, you know, this is where it gets really crazy. The elderly woman can consume the cat, like can eat the cat, and will have some type of what's commonly referred to as a bowel movement. And the cat will reappear again. The cat can consume the elderly woman, will have some type of bowel movement, and the elderly woman will appear again. They can't get rid of each other even if they wanted to. They can't kill each other. No, it's impossible. So, this is the legend, you all. Folks are kind of scared that I'm originally this tiny little cat. I'm not. I want to make that clear. But it's understandable. They say this cat would lie. Yeah, they say the cat is not honest. Now, I don't know about that. Contemporary legend says that the cat is deceptive. But that could be a translation determination. Because if you say something shapeshifts, that's a form of deception, right? So contemporary lexicon, our language, translating something in contemporary time to deception is quite understandable if you're talking about a shape-shifting creature. Yeah. But is the cat a liar? I don't believe so, because it told the elderly lady who was ill, if she consumed it, it would be stuck here. Yeah. It didn't have to tell her anything, but it did. The old legend and contemporary legend has it that the cat explained that to her clearly, multiple times, warned her against it. Yeah. So legend has it that they're best of friends, this elderly African woman and this cat. And they guard that root. Yeah. Look, I really don't have time to be interwoven in some type of African legend. My real purpose for touring for the first time, I said for the first time, this is the first time we would be going. So I don't know how, if I've been present, this is the first time. You know, so this is where people are like, oh, you're lying. And once you've made up your mind about something, you can't convince folks otherwise. So I'm not going to try to convince folks otherwise. If you've made up your mind, you've come to a determination, it's no convincing you otherwise. Yeah. All I can say is I'm not the tiny cat. I don't know where the root is. And that's not my purpose to come into the continent to find it. Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, well, if I came upon the root, I would probably be consumed by the granny or the cat, right? There's no getting past that granny and cat to get to the root, is what I'm telling you. The cat stays by the root, and the granny lives by the cat. They know where it is. There's no getting past them. I would imagine some villagers, some folks have wandered upon that area by accident. They're probably in their belly and they can shapeshift into those individuals. Yeah. So I thought it prudent to tell you all where this comes from. You know that you read Stephen King's The Stand? Yeah. You remember the creature in there? He could shapeshift into a bird and then back into a man. Yeah, that's where all of this comes from, that African legend. And you remember the elderly black woman that they kept seeing in the movie The Stand, talking to them? Exactly. So Stephen King, all of them, everybody really, everybody pays homage to this story, is what I'm trying to tell you. So that's why I believe it's true. And they're like, well, yeah, I'm not going to reiterate it, but I hope this judge relinquishes and really looks at this and says, okay, you have some valid points here, but you never know. If I am the creature, I don't need the judge's permission. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about this. It's like, why would I come and notify you? That makes no sense. So I hope that this judge really thinks about it. Yeah, and no disrespect to the judge. I think that this judge is just being cautious. I just wanted to tell you all why there's a delay. Legend has it that the creature will return, and then there'll be a great war, and the creature will devour everyone. Look, if that's true, that's true. But I think that creature is still there. Yeah, that creature is still there. And as long as you don't wander upon that route, you're fine. If you do, you're not going to be fine. Period. Yeah, that's the end of the story. I have respect for the cat, the elderly lady, and the root. I don't come to places and disrespect what's sacred. Yeah, I just don't do that. That's not my cup of tea. So for folks to think I would come there and disrespect what's sacred, near and dear to folks, that's not what I do. That's why I have a great deal of respect for cats. This is why in Egypt, when the empress heard about a cat that was being harmed out in the street, she literally took feral cats into her palace, commanded the servants to give them whatever they wanted, because it was out of great respect for that tiny cat. Everybody had known about that story. Yeah. The empress said if anybody in Egypt harms a cat, it is the death penalty. Yeah. In Egypt, they had the death penalty if you harmed a cat. Yeah. You scratch a cat, you get death. Somebody said they let up a little bit, but hey, you never know. But yeah, and this is why women have a great deal of respect for cats. I'm going to explain this to you. Men have dogged out women in this realm for centuries. They've mistreated them. And other creatures have dogged out cats for centuries. They've mistreated them. So women feel some type of kinship towards cats because they know that they receive negative treatment based off of this story, this legend. And I thought I'd tell you all where it originates from, as we get set for, I think, a very unprecedented and historic journey. Yeah. I saw one of the children. They were holding a mask. Yeah. There was a tiny little kid holding a mask. Yeah. And they were like, the sign over the kid said, "Let the owl in." Yeah. So the children want the owl to be let in. Now, will the continent let the owl in? That's the ultimate question. I have to do it this way. I'm not just going to try to come in without permission. I don't do that. I respect the trifecta. I respect the legends and the traditions, cultures, and customs of the people where I try to journey to. I do that everywhere. But this legend is complicating things. And I thought I'd let you all know what the concern is. Trying to address it as best as I could. But if this doesn't satisfy everyone, that's perfectly understandable. This is probably the last delay. You know, we have a bunch of friends in the continent that we've met outside the continent. Some of them now are pregnant or have just delivered children, little babies. So some of them who were going to give us tours and take us to different places, you know, they're at the moment very busy. Let's just say it that way. So we would have been doing this journey solo dolo. And the judge that's giving this judge cause for concern too. They're like, because you won't share with us who your friends are, we don't believe you have any. Now, I'm not sharing who my friends are for safety concerns for their well-being. I don't trust everyone in that continent. Yeah, I trust my friends, but I don't trust everyone in that continent. You know, Africa, specifically West Africa, I mean, you have a history of slave trading. Yeah. I wouldn't trust any type of place that has such a dark and atrocious history. Yeah. I mean, have you heard what I said about Europe and the Americas? Anybody really been paying attention? So, with that said, I trust my folks, but I don't trust the continent to look out for me or my folks. So I'm not going to tell you who my friends are. Go kick rocks. I never reveal my sources. Yeah. People that have been loyal, I don't reveal that. Yeah. That's confidential. Even to Africa. So I hope this judge will understand that too, that I'm not going to do that. I'm not willing to do it. I know this judge has made it a big stink. They want a few names. I'm not doing that. And I want to make that clear. I'm not revealing any names, period, as a condition of entry. No. If that's the condition, then I won't go. Period. I'm standing firm on that. No way, Jose. Yeah, when I saw that that was a request that I have to reveal associates of mine who are in the continent, I said, hell no. You know, sometimes folks will ask you to do stuff, these nation states, they'll ask you to do things that you're just not going to do. And you have to put your foot down. How many times have I told this country, America, that I'm not going to do certain things that it wants and requires? So the same is going to be true of Africa too. There's certain things I'm not going to do to a nation state. Look, let me tell you all something. You come here solo dolo, and outside of that little tiny cat and that grandma, you're going to leave solo dolo. Don't give your complete allegiance and loyalty to anything here. Yeah, don't do that. My allegiance is to myself. That's it, period. Now, I can be loyal to people as much as loyalty can get. But I never give my complete allegiance to anything besides myself. Yeah. So this is the legend, you all. This is how it goes. I'm inclined to believe this really occurred. I understand the caution, but some of the requests, they're going to be no. I'm not giving names and associates. I'm not giving whereabouts and locations where we would travel either. For security reasons, I'm not willing to give those things out. I'm not putting anyone in danger due to their association with myself. That's not going to happen. They just have to take my word for it that I know multiple folks in the continent of Africa. Yeah, we have multiple friends, long-time associates and friends. Yeah. Oh, I know some folks. And I told all of them, as a condition of entry, I'm not giving out your name. I'm not giving out who you are, how we met. None of that shit. You know, these governments, and this is a tirade that I'm going on, these governments, they think they should be lords and lordess over us as a way to traverse the planet. They put up all of these barriers of entry to different locations of the planet, like they own these parts of the planet. You don't own shit. This planet was here before you got here, and it'll be here after you get here. Yeah, you don't own shit. And so you're not going to push and bogart me around. Period. I'm not going to have to tell some folks this straight to their face. You're not going to push and bogart me. You can get away with doing that to other people because they don't stand on their square. I stand on my square. I don't care who the hell you are. You can be a king, queen, prime minister, president. senator, congress member. I don't care what title you got, what alphabet they give you. You're not going to Bogart me. So no, I'm not going to give you any names and associates or whereabouts. Yeah, no. They said, give us 3 associates of yours in the continent. Yeah, this is what they said. Give us 3 associates. You don't have to give everybody, but give us 3. I said, no. Hell no. I told them, hell no. They can't even protect themselves. How the hell are they going to protect anybody else? I'm being honest. Africa, the continent of Africa, to this day, doesn't even have a navy. You know, you're surrounded by all that water. Anybody can just come on in there and pump your ass. You don't even have a navy. And you want me, some defenseless punks who constantly get pumped, will never learn how to not get pumped. You want me to give you my associate so they can maybe get caught up in that shit? Because I'm not going to get pumped by anybody. The French, the Americans, the Chinese, the Russians. No, I'm not going to get pumped by anybody. The Africans, no. Hell no. So maybe Africa, you should get together as a continent and build yourself a navy. How about that? That way you can protect your shores, your water, so people won't mistreat you. Because you know, as long as you can't stand up for yourself, bullies go around mistreating you. When they know that you're going to stand up for yourself, there's a lot of hesitation. They might still try it. But you know, they can fuck around, as the youth like to say. And they can find out. Yeah. I say it this way. Run up and get done up. I can't even say what I would do to some folks, but you know, some folks have tried to. Oh, I'm just waiting. There's no chill with me. Did you all ever see The Incredible Hulk? He told Mr. McGee, he said, Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Yeah. He told Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. I tell these white supremacists and these Nazis and these other punks, that's what I'm going to call them, punks, because they're not about shit to me. To you all, you're all, oh my goodness, no. I don't get scared of shit. Run up if you want to. Yeah. No, so Africa, get a navy, please. Put some boats in the water, a real good navy. You need about maybe 300, 400 submarines. Yeah. The entire continent, you know, they can argue about this, that, and the other. But can they build a navy so they can protect their water? Yeah. Then you need an air force so you can protect your air. So when the other people with jets and fighter planes come flying by, you can send yours up there and shoot them out of the sky. Yeah. Get a defense. Because this whole expecting that this tiny cat is going to devour everybody that invades the continent, that's a legend. Don't nobody know if that shit is true or not. And the tiny cat might be busy protecting the root. Might not give a damn about anything besides that root. Now, if folks want to come up and run up on that root, oh yeah, they'll find out the hard way. But they're not going to defend an entire continent for you. Yeah, that's where the Black Panther comes from, all that kind of shit. All of that comes from this legend. That's what I'm trying to tell you all. Yeah, they need a Navy and an Air Force. Stop worrying about this tiny little cat in the room and the old granny. Let those creatures be where they be. Yeah, I'm not worried about those creatures. I don't even want to see them. Yeah, I have no interest in seeing the grandma and the cat. Yeah. Yeah, that's not interesting to me. Nor the root. That's not really interesting to me. Legend has it that those are the only two creatures that ever consume that shit. Yeah. But hey, we don't know if others did. I don't know. You say, why don't insects consume it? Because the insects are smart too. They smell the smell and it's putrid. It's, according to the legend, it's horrendous. Yeah, it's horrendous. And no, it's not ayahuasca. Ayahuasca does not make you live forever. Ayahuasca is potent, more potent than THC or marijuana, but it's not ayahuasca. It's far worse than ayahuasca. Do I know what the root is? You know, it has many names. I'm not going to refer to it here because then some people will know what I'm referring to. It goes by many names. For general purposes, I'm going to call it a root. It's technically a root. Technically. Yeah. And it's poisonous to all species. Yeah, it's poisonous to all species. Not just humans. All species. That's why the cat, yeah, you know, that's why it's stuck here. Yeah, so this is kind of it. Yeah. I'm not, when they said I had to reveal associates, I said, are you kidding me? Yeah, if I could shapeshift, I would shapeshift out of my body and tell them, go kick rocks. Shh. Man, nowadays folks be asking for too much. Yeah, they be asking for way too much. I'm like, what next? You want my bowel movement? Here, over here, they want to inspect your genitals if you want to play on a sports team. It's just really ridiculous. And people don't want to put their foot down, but that's what's going to be necessary. See, I put my foot down. I say, I'm not going to do this stupid shit. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. Period. Yeah, I'll tell the Africans that too. You know? See, some of you all think that I wouldn't say the same thing to them that I say to you. I don't know why you feel that way. I'm consistent. Yeah, I'm consistent. If it's a no for you, it's going to be a no for them. If it's a yes for you, it's going to be a yes for them. Yeah, I'm consistent. I call balls and strikes. Yeah. So this judge, I understand their caution. The request, no. The caution, yes. It's up to them now after this to make their final determination. We'll await what it is. If they say no, I'll abide by it. No question about it. Other jurisdictions don't have this type of particular law or issue. Mexico never asked me to reveal associates. You know, this is where it gets kind of stupid. Like, I would have told the Mexicans no if they had asked me to do it. Mexico never asked. Yeah. So you all, I wanted to tell you about that story, the legend of this little tiny cat. Ask around. Some folks know about this story. You know, there's folks that tell you that they'll vouch and tell you this is true. Yeah. Yeah. Go ask some folks who know about these things. I'm not the only one that knows about this legend. I told you Stephen King wrote a whole book, The Stand. Go and watch the movies. The Stand was all about that story. a legend. That's what it was about. Now they use religion and all of those kind of things in it. So it got kind of maneuvered, and they use plagues and pestilence on the land, things like that. All of that got interwoven into the story, but the essence of it is about this African grandmother and the cat. That's the essence of it. And they used a bird to represent the cat because they didn't want to directly tell you. Go ask him, he'll tell you. Ask Pharaoh. Pharaoh will tell you too. A lot of folks know. A lot of folks know. Yeah. And so that's what's got people cause for concern. And I get that. I really do. But this judge, like, this is why I say use your full brain. Because if I was that tiny cat, I wouldn't ask for permission. Period. I just have shown up because according to the legend, the cat has to protect that root. Has to. Yeah. That's its only real mission, to protect that root. And the grandmother is there to protect the root too. So you would have to get to two creatures. The most powerful creatures on this realm are that cat and the grandmother. They're more powerful than any other creature. Period. No other creature has been here as long as they've been here. They've been here for centuries. And they'll be here when everybody else goes away. Some people say vampires. Vampires live maybe 2,000-3,000 years. They've been around for 50, 60, 70, 80,000 years. They'll put a vampire to shame. They probably consume vampires. Yeah, werewolves longevity, their lifespan is short. Those creatures, that's why everybody pays homage to them. They're the most powerful creatures. Yeah. That's it, yeah. And so, yeah, some people say the cat is the beast. The beast, I've heard that. That's where the legend of the beast comes from. Because the cat kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The beast, yeah. Yeah, this is where all of these things come from. I thought you all should really know the background story of it. Yeah. We will have to see. We're shooting for late this year, entry into the continent of Africa. Late this year. But we'll see. There's been a delay. I just thought I'd tell you all that. And they want information that I'm not going to give them. Yeah, period. So we'll see. Only time will tell now.